Bend, rich in history, a transport town that's built on the banks of the mighty Murray River.
It has always been about engines, from steam-powered to later diesel-electric locomotives.
It's always been about getting from A to B as fast as possible.
So a world-class motorsport precinct? Well, that was just meant to be.
Welcome to round 2 of the Shannons Speed Series, the LIQUI MOLY GT Festival, The Bend.
Let's set the scene with a look back at round 1 from Phillip Island as we started the season in style.
The island, breathtaking, the ideal spot to kickstart a big season.
The first race of a new season in Monochrome GT4 Australia goes the way of Aaron Cameron.
A capacity 33 car field in Monochrome Australia GT4 made for wins to savour. 10 post-race penalties were issued on Sunday, Tom Heyman and Jed Murray coming out on top. Some of the best young talent in Australia and New Zealand wowed in Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenge. Hunter Robb scored 2 race wins to claim the round, while the Enduro had us on the edge of our seats. It was an unforgettable debut for the new one-make Mustang Cup.
Wow, what a race, what a way to open the campaign.
Le Mans Invitational winner Cameron McLeod claimed the 40-minute race on Sunday. Kiwi Rick Armstrong converted pole to an unassailable win in race 1 of Ferrari Challenge. A huge crash ruled out Armstrong, Enzo Cheng and Antoine Gattani on Sunday. Policina eventually winning with class victories to Masahiro Taguchi and Ross Termaine. And a highly anticipated start to GT World Challenge Australia powered by AWS did not disappoint. Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher commencing their title defence superbly.
He drove angry. He did, and it paid off.
In race 2, Mercedes AMG rode a wave of emotions.
The Mercedes AMG out of the race.
Jayden Ojeda and Paul Rigidi turning the Tagani squad's frown upside down by the checkered flag.
Well, after the immense action of round 1 down at Phillip Island, we are back for round 2 of the Shannons Speed Series LIQUI MOLY GT Festival right here at the spectacular Shell VPower Motorsports Park. Well, today's conditions, it's currently 13 degrees down here, expected to hit a top of 17 degrees. There's been a little bit of rain around, so it could be a wet qualifier that we're expecting. The drivers are getting ready. We're ready, but are you for another epic weekend of racing? Hello everyone, welcome back to all of our KO viewers. I'm Grace Hayden and this is Chris Stubbs. Stubbsy, we've done round 1 in Phillip Island, but we're here round 2 at the Bend. Tell me, what are we looking forward to about this epic track?
Well, that's the thing, that little recap there from Phillip Island just absolutely whets the appetite for what we have ahead of us here today. 4.95 kilometres Tailem Bend. It is the most recently constructed racetrack that we go to all year. The drivers love it. It's challenging, especially with conditions like this. A little bit of rain this morning, so it's damp out there. We're qualifying this morning and then a packed afternoon of racing. But we've got some of the best young talent in Australasia. We've got established stars like Brock Feeney, Thomas Randall, Aaron Cameron, Ryan Wood and more. It's a big day ahead.
Oh, it's a big day, but certainly a big calendar ahead. We've got 6 different tracks that we're heading to throughout the country. We've been to Phillip Island already for round number 1. Round 2, we're obviously here at the Bend in Adelaide. Then we head to Queensland, my home state, in June, and then we head up to Hidden Valley in Darwin in July, then to Sydney Motorsports Park in September, and we finish things off with a cracking season finale down at Sandown at the end of October. So lots to look forward to, Stubbsy, but run us through what we're looking forward to today.
Well, a huge day. So qualifying is first. Monochrome GT4 Australia. You can see beside us and around us that the teams are just starting to set up and get ready to go racing there. It's a huge day. 6:15 this afternoon. That's Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's when we wrap up. So we have got hours of entertainment for you. We've got the Ferraris here again. We've got the Mustang Cup. That's the second time that we've seen that. GT4s, they are out first and running for us. Porsche Michelin Sprint Challenges there. We've got, of course, the star attraction, the GT World Challenge Australia powered by AWS. That wraps up the day and it's all about to get started.
Oh, I cannot wait. I know you guys can't as well. Well, that's enough from us here trackside. We're going to head to Charlie Barlow now. Good morning, Charlie.
Good morning, Grace. Good morning, Stubbsy, and a very good morning to Brendan Leach. Early bird catches the worm, and an interview as well. Welcome back to South Australia.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really excited today. It's a bit cold out, but I'm excited to get going. A couple of hours away from qualifying for us, and we had a really good day yesterday. So.
It was. So top 5 in the final practice for you, but also let's touch on Sergio in that bronze practice. P2 for him.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying. We had a great test a few weeks ago, and then that momentum just carried on into yesterday, and we're just tuning the car a little bit, made some changes through the day, and he just got more and more comfortable to the point where he's absolutely flying. So I'm super excited today to see how he goes. There's absolutely no pressure for him. He just needs to go out there and enjoy himself, and I'm sure the lap time will come. But yeah, definitely some more pace to come from him today, as yesterday we were still not running on the best condition tyre as possible. So I'm excited.
And these mixed conditions, obviously, we've got a little bit of time to see whether we're going to have some drier track for you guys to qualify on. But how is the Merc handling these sort of wetter conditions? Yeah,
it's a tricky one because when the track's starting to dry a little bit, then you have to try and make a decision at some point when you're going to go onto slicks. And that's, I think it's going to be dry by the time we go out if the sky stays clear like it is now. But yesterday was crazy. It actually rained on and off throughout the day. We had lots of showers, very short ones, and it kind of made the practice a little bit tricky. Half of the session was a bit of a nothing because we couldn't drive. It wasn't wet enough for wets and not dry enough to be pushing on slicks. So if it's anything like that, it's going to make qualifying pretty interesting. But at the moment, fingers are crossed that it stays like this, and by the time we're on track, it'll be dry.
We're hoping for slightly different things. I wouldn't mind a little bit of wet weather spice for qualifying, Brendan, but you've been keeping yourself extremely sharp since we saw you at Phillip Island over in Asia, doing lots of racing there.
Yeah, I've been racing in GT World Challenge Asia as well as Australia. In the Ferrari 296 GT3 Evo with Harmony Racing. So it's been really good. We just got our first podium at the weekend in Mandalika in Indonesia, so that was really, really cool. I'm enjoying driving all the different cars. It's, a lucky boy. It's just a lot of fun, and yeah, this Mercedes, though, is an absolute beast around here. I can't wait to get going.
Brendan Leach is living the life. You're living a best life, and we get to watch on. So it's wonderful to have you back in the series. Rusty is standing by.
Charlie, good morning to you. Unfortunately, I'm chatting to you with a little bit of sad news, and that is as we get ready, just moments away from Monochrome Australia GT4 qualifying, the Mustang of Jason Gomersall and Aaron Seaton is unfortunately out. People would have seen on social media and on Aussie Motorsport news outlets yesterday that there was an incident for Jason just off the inside of turn 18 on the main straight. Bit of damage to the car. Firstly, how is he this morning?
Yeah, Jace is doing okay this morning. He's obviously pretty sore after the incident. It was a big hit. So yeah, thankfully he's okay. Unfortunately, we won't be out there today, but yeah, the priority is Jace's health at the moment.
Yeah, most definitely. It does sound like the damage was heavily centred around the left-hand side of the car, and it's how significant is it?
Yeah, it was quite a large impact on the driver's door. So thankfully, the Ford Mustang's done a great job with the safety on that side of things with the build of the car, and it's done a really good job of absorbing the impact. It was obviously such a large hit on the inside wall there of the last corner, so thankfully he's okay. The car not so much. Yeah, we'll probably need either reshelling or something along those lines, but that's okay. As long as Jace's okay, that's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. What does this mean from your point of view for the weekend now, mate? You're a racer at heart, like your dad and your late grandfather. You'd love to be out there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, as long as Jace is okay, that's the main thing. We've still got 2 other cars from the G-Motorsport Motorsport team out there today, so be helping out where I can and cheering them on.
Good on you. And for people that are joining us on the coverage here this morning, they would know that your grandfather, the 1965 Bathurst 500 winner, very sadly left us on the 17th of April. There was a wonderful send-off in recent days, and a life of motor racing, a family life of motor racing celebrated, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awesome. Dad did a great job of putting together a little get-together for all of Pop's friends and family, so it was cool to celebrate his life at Club Helensvale last week, and yeah, have a look back on his journey and things I didn't even know he did, and I think same for Dad, so to look through all the old photos was really cool to get everyone together that he used to race with, and they caught up with each other for the first time in years, so it was a really special way to celebrate his life and send him off, and yeah, it's a cool way to get everyone together and celebrate his life.
Thank you very much for chatting with us this morning. Hard luck about the rest of the weekend for you. We hope that the coming rounds are great for you, and good luck with the rest of the cars for G-Motorsport Motorsport. And thinking of all the family and friends of Bo Seaton, their nice reflection there from Aaron. We're about to go qualifying for Monochrome Australia GT4 just moments ago. Ryder Quinn telling me in these damp conditions he is going to head out on slick tyres. Let's take you to commentary. Here's Richard Craill and Nick Percat.
And Rusty, the thrills and spills of Monochrome GT4 Australia could be amplified this morning by a very, very greasy Shell VPower Motorsport Park here at the Bend. Tricky conditions, I think, will be the case for this qualifying session, which is coming your way shortly. 15 minutes will be on the clock for GT4 cars. Another capacity grid in this ever-expanding championship. Delighted to say that another hometown hero is alongside me in the form of Nick Percat. You just looked out the window, Nick, and you just gave me I'm not sure about this and that slick tyre call from Ryder Quinn. Do you think that is the right way to go?
Good morning. Firstly, I'm going to just pad this out a bit, but he's brave. Obviously, they drove yesterday. The weather was a bit patchy with some rain off and on. And one thing with Tailem Bend, normally it dries super fast. It's super windy at the back of the circuit, but I'm looking at the flags and there's not a lot of movement. There's not a lot of sun on the track, so we haven't got the temperature to dry it. But judging by our pictures here, there is a little bit of wind on the front straight, so he could be on the money.
We may need 32 Monochrome GT4 Australia cars to dry the circuit. This is how the Silver Cup standings look after our opening round at Phillip Island. Tom Heyman and Jet Murray with a great weekend for Method Motorsport in the McLaren. A couple of Ford Mustangs chasing them. Ever consistent George Medicke with his new co-driver Blake Tracy in second. Lockie Dalton and Aaron Cameron. That brilliant win in the opening race at the championship for Multispares Racing sit third. Cam McLeod and Mason Harvey just behind. And then Jensen Shearer, who had a terrific opening account in the Renan Motorsport car, in fifth place, the leading Porsche Cayman 718 in fifth place. So very strong start for a relative rookie to this style of racing. Daniel Fergus, Willie Exton and Jack Johnson next. Ryland Gray, Tyler Bryant, the American Sam Paley and Jack Wallace were ninth. And Jake Camilleri rounding out the top 10 in the Silver Cup after the opening round of the championship. But there's battles all the way through, and classes are the big story in GT4. And as a result, it's locked up at the top, and it's only on countback that we find Dean Campbell leading the way. He's got a change of co-driver this weekend, so Tom McLennan will slide in the Ford Mustang for D.A. Campbell Transport Racing, run by the Method Motorsport team. Ryder Quinn, he's got Steve Jackick back alongside him this weekend. Daniel Gillison filled in a cameo at Phillip Island. They did a great job, and this was a big round for Ryder 12 months ago. We'll talk about that in a minute. Lockie Evident and Andrew Torty had a solid weekend in the Toyota Supra, and that's a car that's coming on strong in GT4 racing. The Randall Racing BMW just outside the top three. And then in the AM Cup, Glenn Walker having upgraded from an older BMW into a Mustang this year. The Gomersal Motorsport leads the way. Nathan Callahan and Chris Lillis in second place in their Porsche, and Peter Lawrence rounding out the top three in the AM Cup. So we'll keep you posted with all of the various class permutations over the course of the weekend and how these two qualifying sessions play out in Monochrome GT4 Australia. So that's the situation as it stands heading into round two of the championship. I was going to ask you, unprompted, Nick, for a standout moment from round one, but that's a hard thing to do because there were 1,000,001 stories that came out of a really dramatic weekend.
Oh, absolutely. You, just throwing the big questions early in the morning. It was a crazy weekend, and the racing was absolutely fantastic. But you know what? Actually, the standout moment between events has been repairing the Harvey McLeod car. That crash through the hay shed at Phillip Island, obviously massively fast, a lot of damage, and that car's rolled out, yesterday and gone P2. So very, very impressive by them.
Let's get back down to the lane with Rusty.
There's a lot of conjecture just around sort of tyre choices and what to do here. Chris O'Toole from LIQUI Motorsport saying to me a moment ago, he reckons a lap or two and cars could be in. They're going out on wets. Well, you've just had a good look over the wall. What are you thinking?
I'm not too sure. It's a bit touch and go. I think it'll start off as wets, and then as the session goes on, it'll go to slicks. Qualifying 2, I think we'll start on slicks, but it just depends on the weather around here. It's so hard to tell. So we'll just see what happens, and then we'll go from there. Yeah.
You've got a smile on your face. You're actually going to enjoy this.
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Thank you.
That was Cooper Cutts, the young West Australian who, with Blake Dowdle, had a solid opening round, a couple of top 10 finishes in their LIQUI Motorsport Ford Mustang in Monochrome GT4. Welcome to everyone joining us on Fox Sports this morning. You're watching the Shannons Speed Series, the LIQUI MOLY GT Festival here at the Bend in South Australia. And you've missed nothing from an on-track point of view because the Monochrome GT4 Australia cars have just left pit lane and have rolled out onto the Bend's 4.9 kilometres of undulation. Nick Percat, this is a driver's circuit if there ever was one, and it's got a little bit of everything.
Absolutely does. It's an unbelievable track to drive, you know. Everyone speaks about, obviously, the facilities here at Taylor Bend, but as a driver, it's a really fun track. We got a long straight down into turn 1 with a big braking zone, passing opportunities. You know, turn 5, depending what car you're in, is touch and go flat. Turn 6, another great passing opportunity. And then we have the triple rights, which is a bit of an iconic corner for Taylor Bend, where you see the aero cars, which we will see this weekend, in full tilt through there, which is really, really cool. And it just never ends, this circuit, so it's got everything. GT
drivers saying yesterday that their neck at the end of the day is a bit battered and bruised after those triple rights downhill, loaded up, more than 2G lateral grip through there, so you're working pretty hard. Won't see quite that level of G-force in a GT4 car. Nevertheless, it's still a workout, and these track conditions are going to be interesting. What this indicates for me, Nick, is that we've got 12 and a half minutes in this session remaining. Pole position, I reckon, is going to come in about 14 minutes, because you want to be the last car on a flying lap on a drying racetrack.
100%. So you're in two minds. Do you go out on wets, roll a banker, come in for the slicks and hope it dries at the end? Do you go out on a very low tyre pressure on your wet and just stay out there and keep them nice and cool and have a big crack with a few minutes to go? Or do you actually have to roll your slicks out the gate? It's a long lap. You know, you're up close to 2 minutes a lap here. We've only got 12 minutes to go. So, well, you got 6 laps up your sleeve to get the slick tyre in the right temperature zone, get the wax off them, and just stay on the island for 10 odd minutes and then do one Hail Mary at the end. It's really touch and go.
What would your preference be? So back in supercar land, what would you and your engineer have talked about? Would you have preferred to have run a wet and then gone to a slick, or would you have been happier building into it on a slick tyre?
In a session short like this, you would nearly find a lot of the supercar teams would have put the slick on at a very low tyre pressure, like a race pressure, so you're down near minimum, and it would have been keep it on the island for the first 6-7 minutes, just build it in, build the temperature in slowly, because sometimes, like I said, if you haven't got out on track and done a little bit of a banker, in these conditions a red flag is very possible, so it's hard. You know, these teams... Oh,
that's a big impact.
Crash for the Campbell.
That's a massive impact. High speed off at the change of direction up at the top of the hill, I think at the exit of turn 5, and we'll go red flag straight away. Big impact for the Ford Mustang, and we just talked about the fact that this team has had a change of driver. It is Tom McLennan shown behind the wheel of that car. He's replacing Cam Crick for this weekend, and the way Motorsport replay will show it. So that's the exit of turn 3 on the run up the hill. So you're climbing up. Oh, and the Love Mercedes. This is going to hurt.
That's unfortunate. That's a bit of spatial awareness, knowing who's around you. And in these conditions, on a cold tyre and a very cold track, that has taken the tiniest of touches and sent him hard left and into the fence. So that's really, really unfortunate for him. Obviously, he would have been excited for a qualifying session, new to the car, but they've got a bit of work to do now.
And with the wet conditions this morning, a lot of rain overnight here at Taylor Bend, It's extremely wet offline, so the grass incredibly slippery, and the car just did not slow down at any point. It almost looked like it sped up. So it was Bailey Love behind the wheel of the number 17 Mercedes-AMG GT4, and the young Queenslander Tom McLennan, who's hugely experienced in one-make Porsche racing these days, stepped out of Carrera Cup this year, do a little bit of GT racing, I understand. But unfortunately, that's a massive impact. And for the D.A. Campbell Transport Racing squad that have been contenders in Monochrome GT4 Australia and came into this weekend tied on the lead in the Silver Am Championship, and by result of having won their class in race 2 at Phillip Island, led the standings coming in. That is a massive blow for the Bathurst-based squad, and they're going to have to work really hard to get that car fixed if they can for race 1, or salvage something with a race 2 start tomorrow.
And now if you look, like we said, trying to get a banker lap around here, the session had been running for what felt like quite some time, and not even a single car has got around to do their first flying lap. So it shows the length of this circuit at Tailem Bend. So right now, if I had my choice as a driver, we're going to be maybe one lap at the end. You have to put a wet on it just to be safe, because the wet tyre actually gets up to temperature faster than the slick in these conditions. So it'd be a low pressure wet, and then you just got to do the best job you can.
That car being run by Method Motorsport, which is how Tom McLennan's come to be part of that squad, as we have a look at Jared Hughes sharing with Summer Rintle. They've moved across from Mercedes-AMG to McLaren in the Artura GT4 this year in the silver class.
It's a great looking race car.
It is they're a good looking race car. Actually, Ryan Sorensen's car has got sort of a, I don't know how to explain it, hexagonal, but it's got pinks and blues and purples, and terrifically well presented race car. I should say that most of the field look outstanding. It is a really well presented grid. They're lined up in some marquees out the back of the big pit facility here at the Bend Motorsport Park, and it does look outstanding. There's the headset on in Team Boss mode. Chazzy,
have a look at him. He's ready to... this is great for the sport and what he's doing with his team, but I just love watching Chaz at work when it's not behind the wheel, because
it's kind of weird.
It makes me laugh.
Yeah, it is kind of strange, isn't it? Because we're used to seeing him as a Brecco Supercar champion and Bathurst winner and one of the greats currently in our sport. But he is so passionate about this program and the opportunities for young drivers that he is really passionate about developing on, which for a young guy himself is super impressive. To Shannon's pit lane and Greg Rust.
I'm just down at the very exit of the lane, Crailsy, with car 3, the Black Diamond Building and Construction BMW. Ryder Quinn is on slicks. Steve Jackage, tell us about the conversation around this before he went out.
Well, the theory was it was going to dry up, so, we're just going to risk it for the biscuit and get out there. But, unfortunately, don't know if we're going to have enough time to get the heat in the tyres and do what we had to do, but I guess that's part of it.
Okay, so they look like here, the people listening to our coverage can hear the guns in the background. You are going to switch him to wets here.
We are putting on wets now, we haven't got enough time. We've got a couple of laps in us, so let's get out on the wets and see what we can do.
Thanks for talking to us. Let's go to Charlie.
Thought I'd grab a quick chat with Dean Campbell. Dean, I'm so sorry, it's not the way you want to start your Saturday here at the Bend.
No, it wasn't quite what we were hoping for, but look, I don't know how bad the damage is. I haven't seen any footage yet. I'm sure it's not ideal, but hopefully we can get it sorted and get back out for the race at least and see how we go.
And hearing on the radio, everything's fine, talking back to you, Tom's all good?
Yeah, he's all good, I just don't know how bad the car is. I haven't seen a thing yet, but fingers crossed it's not too bad.
And of course you were one of the guys that went out on slick tyres, so talk us through that decision.
Oh, well, I guess it probably might have compounded to the problem at the moment, but we've been in this situation before. I remember last year where we were on pole, and with 1 minute to go the guys on slicks all went to the front, so it was a roll of the dice. It could be the right decision, could be the wrong decision, but you can look like a hero or zero, can't you? So it is what it is.
Well, fingers crossed you'll get back out later today.
No worries, thank you.
Yeah, thanks to Charlie and Rusty down in Shannon's pit lane and the recovery team here at the Bend doing a great job. That car already on the flatbed. It was Jared Hughes, incidentally, who popped to the top of the pops in that qualifying session here. It was later last year, so we raced here in September last year with the Shannons Speed Series, but the conditions were ironically quite similar. 1 minute 54.4 was the time that Hughesy did to grab pole, just in front of Zach Suter by 0.5 of a second. And then Max Gagan put it on pole in qualifying 2, second race of the weekend, with a 55.2. You made the point, though, just before we confirmed it with Steve Jakic, that strategy A, which was run on a slick and build it up, that's out the window now because we're not going to have as much time. Chuck a wet at it and get the most out of a still greasy track.
100%. And isn't that the most motorsport thing you've ever heard from Dean Campbell? Last year we had it on pole, dying stages, we lose it to the slick runners. So then you think, in everyday life, I'll do the opposite of what I did. And then it just bites you the other way. It's so hard in motorsport. That's such a hard thing for the viewers to understand, is all the decisions are being made on previous history and data. But then motorsport has this very, very unique way of being able to just throw a spanner in the works and flip it on its head, and you just stand there confused sometimes. So I feel sorry for Dean. Obviously you can see he's shattered, and they thought they're doing the right thing.
It's a cruel sport sometimes, isn't it, Rusty?
Just as the cars head back out, Kralsey, just noticing in the growth of numbers that we are enjoying at the moment from Monochrome Australia GT4 and the presence of some rising star drivers and so on, there is another story here, and that is some of the engineers that have been brought in to work on these cars. So you've got people that have been around our sport for a long time in various different codes, supercars and so on, and a lot of experience up and down this lane permeating some of the decisions that are being made at the moment. One of them just caught my eye as the Cam McLeod Mustang left the lane, and that is Wally Story, who's been around the game, as Nick knows, for a long time. He's great with those short, succinct commands on the radio, and often with a dry sense of humour. He's making some good calls down on that car at the moment.
Having Wally Story in your corner right now, that's worth every bit of your budget. He is an amazing engineer and just a motorsport guru. He's a great guy. He's seen every single condition, junior drivers, experienced drivers, all sorts of mechanics and teams. So he's a massive asset. So that's very good for them to have him on side.
Yeah, it's such an IP sport. It's a brain power sport and a knowledge sport, and people like Wally come in with so much experience, and you can laptop the car to the end of the day, but sometimes you need someone who's a bit of a guru in pit lane to make a call and make a decision and just go, no, do you know what, we're going to do this. Forget about your laptop and forget about your data and all that. Sometimes you just need to make a seat of the pants call on that experience that guys like Wally bring to the paddock. And this paddock is full of gurus like that.
Well, for people at home that probably don't understand tail and bend, very smooth surface. The bitumen's kind of very tightly knit compared to, say, a Winton. No, Winton's good now, sorry. I need to go Simmons Plains. Older surface where there's a bigger gaps between the stone, and Wally calls that the cedar land ratio. But that plays a massive part in the tyre pressure he would set these wets at. Because at a smooth circuit like this, I'm not going to give it away, you do a certain thing with the tyre pressures versus an older surface. So that's the knowledge that he has in the fun theories he has.
The seed to land ratio. That's more appropriate today than I think you even intended, because it is quite wet. So we're back underway, and you'll notice the clock has actually increased. So it's good. James Taylor, Craig Baird, the team in Motorsport Australia Race Control have worked with the event organisers to just add a little bit more time into this qualifying session to give everyone a fair chance to bank a lap time and get themselves on the grid. So we resume, and everyone tiptoes their way around the Bend Motorsport Park for qualifying in Monochrome GT4 Australia. So Caleb Patterson in the Organic Protein Porsche is on track, sharing with Kent Quinn, part of that incredible Team Quinn story at Bathurst earlier this year, and really enjoying his motor racing and his time in GT4 Australia. Other drivers to watch out for: the double silver class champ Tom Heyman is out there, the Method Motorsport McLaren, Tony D'Alberto is out there, Blake Tracy in the Lubrimax car for Mediki Motorsport and the Ford Mustang, Rylan Grabe in the Toyota full-time supercars racer, coming off arguably his best ever weekend at Ruapuna a couple of weeks ago and starting to really get up to speed there. That's Ryder Quinn, sideways, as you would expect, out of turn number 11, in the back straight and the run up the hill into this really awkward right-hander at the top of the hill. I've driven it a couple of times, not at anywhere near the pace that you would, Nick, but that is a really hard corner to get right.
It is. It's uphill for a start, so when you get to the middle of it, you're actually kind of looking at the sky. And it's one where you need to you want to turn the car in quite late, naturally, to open up the exit and stuff like that. But sometimes it's impossible to do there with the wind direction and everything around Taylor Bend. So it's one that I always tend to just get the nose of the car in early to make sure I do get that apex. But how good, right at us, full sideways, on wets, we might add. He wanted to go slicks.
Rain light flashing on the back of the BMW M4. Blazes up this long start-finish straight, even in the wet. It'll be well over 240 kilometres an hour up towards turn 1, and the road just pops up over the hill. Steers clear of the white line at pit exit there, so he's not braking on that painted line, which will be incredibly slippery in these conditions. And we'll start to see some representative lap times at the end of this lap when everyone goes around and completes a flyer.
We've got Aaron Cameron and McLeod just having a battle during qualifying, so they sit first and fourth at the moment. Getting the hurry up. Aaron's on the flashes. Teammates.
I love it. Aaron nominally quickest at the moment at a 209.3, but not real representative lap time just yet as everyone looks to complete a flyer. Still just under 4 minutes to go. He's going to get up the inside of Cammy here, but they're going to race down here. This is not the ultimate way to go and get fastest lap times in qualifying, lads, but McLeod lets him go, and the two multi-spares racing teammates sort themselves out, and Aaron Cameron gets himself in the clean air. Been very good at qualifying this year, Aaron Cameron. The races haven't gone quite to plan in his Supercars campaign, but my goodness, he's been effective over one lap. He'll be looking to replicate that, but adapted to the GT4 car really quickly at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, round 1 of the championship, as you would expect for a professional young racing car driver like he.
His qualifying has been exceptional, but he might be quite happy this weekend. Rolling starts. He's more of a chance.
I'm glad you said that, not I.
I'm good friends with Aaron. I can
he'll be fine.
Wind him up a bit, but this is going to be tricky. You know, they're going to get one more lap after this, so half the field.
Yeah,
that's
and it's going to depend where you cross the line, and there is going to be some serious track evolution. And then for qualifying 2, where the other drivers will jump into the car, for those that are running the 2 drivers, there'll be a lot of learning going on between now and part 2 of qualifying. Lockie Evanet is on a very good lap, and he's gone purple in the middle sector, the silver Ram car, and he's currently scored in 3rd position. We're going to follow Ryder Quinn to the line here and see where he jumps up the leaderboard. He goes to 4th position in car number 3, Black Diamond Racing BMW. Evanet on top of the 209.24, so good lap for Lockie. The Toyota Supra goes to the top. Yeah, it's be a handy little package in these conditions.
It's proving to be quite good. At Phillip Island, it showed what it could do, and then, yeah, these conditions, it's lighting up the leaderboard. Actually, there's a Supra at 1st and 4th at the moment.
So Evanet, Cameron, Patterson, McCutcheon, who's the young Kiwi, is alongside Tony Quinn in the 101 game over at Toyota Supra. So the straight 6 Toyota Supra, they're a lighter, nimble car. They don't have the outright grunt of some of the cars in the field, but in these conditions might make them a pretty handy little race car to be in. Ryder's dropped it at turn 6, so he's just run off the road there in the BMW back of shot as we pick up Lockie Evanet, who is going on with this, and purple in the 1st sector means quicker than anybody. So it's Toyota Supra, Ford Mustangs 2nd and 3rd, with Aaron Cameron 2nd and Blake Tracy in 3rd. Caleb Patterson 4th in the Porsche, and then McCutcheon in 5th place. Blake Dowdle in 6th, Ryder Quinn 7th. William Exton in 8th, first of the McLarens. Nick McBride up to 9th place, and Cam McLeod rounding out the top 10 with just over 70 seconds to go.
It's actually going to be really, really tight between the first 2 guys, and this Supra looks really good through the middle part of the lap. Obviously, like you said, it's potentially a little bit more nimble than the big V8 Ford Mustang, and it gets to show that through that middle sector with a change of direction, and he's absolutely going on with it this lap, and he's just a few tenths clear of Aaron Cameron.
He's just 18 years of age. Lockie Evanet, he is a superstar in the making, one of the many young, up-and-coming, talented drivers that our sport is lucky to have. He's been racing Trans Am cars, been racing a bit of production cars as well. Focus on GT4 Australia. 209.2 to beat, does an 8.8 that time by, and extends his margin over Aaron Cameron. Full-time Supercars racer, by the way, to 4/10. Cameron does an 8.9 and misses out by 1/10 of a second. They'll get one more lap if they need it, but the checkered flag is about to fly. There's 10 seconds left. So you want to be coming out of the final corner now to get yourself to the line and maybe squeeze one more lap out of this session. Two McLarens. I wonder, did Hughes get there and Heyman not? They might just push on anyway.
It looks like they're pushing on.
It's hard to tell from about a kilometre away up here at turn 1 whether they got to the line or not.
It looked like Lockie might have rolled off there. He was looking in the mirrors, and yeah, they've missed that by 1 second. So like we said, it's a big miss in these conditions, because the track is going to ramp up, and it's all kicking off at the front here again, with Lockie's just gone faster again in sector 1 at a 48.5, and Aaron Cameron's made a little mistake on this lap, so Lockie's in the box seat just to finish this. This is where this car's strong. The back end of the middle sector, the change of direction, and he's driving it so well. He squares up all the exits to make sure he gets really good traction, which you'll really see in the back end of the lap off the second to last corner at turn 17.
Reigning Australian Formula 4 champion too, so in low grip, slidey conditions, pretty handy with a bit of recency driving the open wheelers, which I know is a category that you're passionate about. Part of your junior career. He's just given away a 10th.5 in the middle sector, just looking to continue this in the final part of this lap. So the clock has stopped now. If you're on a lap, you need to complete it this time by. He's got 700ths over Aaron Cameron in first and second place. Not sure if there'll be improvement this time by. Might not need it though. Max McCutcheon's on a pretty good lap in 5th place in car 101. He's gone personal best of the first and second sectors. Is there an improvement in the final sector? There's not for Lockie Evanet. So his 2:08.8 stands. Is there any improvement behind? Cameron's done. He peels off into Shannon's pit lane. Ryder Quinn remains in 10th position. No improvement from the BMW. McCutcheon goes to 3rd. Great lap. So the Supra is 1st and 3rd. And beaten by Blake Purdy in the Audi. The South Australian gets there at the end, goes to 3rd.
That's a great story for them. Obviously, Phillip Island did not go to plan without even turning a lap on the weekend. So to put that P3 in effectively their first qualifying session of the season is amazing.
And everyone looks to have completed their final flying laps at the end of qualifying 1 for Monochrome GT4 Australia. Silver class pole for Aaron Cameron, but up top, silver AM class and outright Lockie Evanet. What a job. Edges out the full-time supercars racer. The teenager has done the business in the Cam Quarry's Toyota Supra. A last-ditch lap from Blake Purdy put the Audi into 3rd place. McCutcheon with a nice job in the game over car alongside Tony Quinn in 4th. Blake Tracy and George Medicki were 5th. Patterson and Quinn in the mix all session in the Porsche. Look at all the brands represented in the top 10, so pretty even playing field really. A lot of Mustangs in there. William Exton in the McLaren in 8th position. And then we roll down through. Ryder Quinn just outside the top 10 in the end there, so it was sideways, but it wasn't fast. And Walker ultimately topped the AM class contenders. He was 23rd outright. The red highlighted numbers of the class battle there, and just edged out the Loves in the Mercedes AMG, and then Ryan Sorensen 3rd in the AM class at the end of qualifying 1. But the big story, 18-year-old Lockie Evanet has done the business. What a lap.
It was great, and the big thing I noticed watching that, it might look like he's just missing the apex here and there, but he just put the car a quarter of a car width, half a car width wide of the apex everywhere, and same on exit, and he found the grip on the circuit. So often in the wet you want to be alternate lines, a little bit wider across the apex of the corner, narrower on the exit to get better traction, and he's absolutely put that into practice and done a great job of it.
And he's got miles in a Supra actually, because he raced in Somerset GT New Zealand over summer in a Toyota Supra, so he's got miles in these cars as well. Let's go to Charlie.
Thanks, Krause. Thought I'd have a quick chat with the silver pole sitter. Congratulations, Aaron Cameron. Sporting a new Mo as well. Has it made you go faster?
Oh, I'd say it has. And a silver pole. Is there silver AM? Is there a silver AM on pole of the actual outright thing then, obviously? So, all right, good. Yes. Good session. Mustang probably doesn't usually go that good in the rain, so pretty stoked with that. And yeah, we'll just see what Lockie can do now. And it looks like the track's going to be so close between finishing on wets and slicks, so that's a him problem.
And you were doing a bit of a download before Lockie just jumped in there. So what sort of data and what information were you transferring to him?
I just told him, don't screw it up. I got silver pole, so he should get silver pole. But it's just a couple of line differences here when it's a bit sketchy at turn 6. You need to go nice and wide and square off that exit. That's pretty much all. But he'll be fine. He's a driver too. He's great.
Nothing like cheering on your teammate. Thanks, Aaron. Rusty.
Lockie Evans has just jumped out of the Supra. Well played.
Thank you very much. Yeah, really fun out there. Yeah, I enjoy the wet, and it's tricky conditions like this, obviously, with the drying track. But yeah, really happy with how the car felt. Can't thank the team at BF Racing enough. And obviously the Supra, it's come out well. It's just feeling good. So yeah, glad to grab the pole.
The smile says it all. The commentator's just talking about the conditions maybe playing to this car right now. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. And it's, like I said, these conditions are tricky, and you can really gamble with a slick tyre, or you can go to, stay on the wet. So I think, we'll see what we can do out there. We'll see what everyone else does. But, just really happy with the way it came out.
Before we wrap this up, what's that kind of mean? This is a quality stacked field now, isn't it, to do that in this company?
Yeah, definitely. Really, really happy. It gives me a lot of confidence going into the races this afternoon. But we'll see what Andrew, my co-driver, can do. I'll go give him some coaching when I jump off the mic here and see what he can pull out.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice work, Rusty, with Lockie Evans. That car qualified 12th and 24th outright in the overall leaderboard at Phillip Island, and 6th and 7th in class. So that's pole in class and pole outright here at the Bent. That's a big improvement.
It's a fair step up. Just add some rain. It's always the way. The equaliser, the cars get to show different strengths in this kind of racing in GT4, but also the driver makes a massive difference in this condition as well. So well done to them.
He said his career highlight was grabbing pole position in the GR Cup at Townsville last year on the street circuit. I wonder if that might just pip it.
I think it will.
Yeah, that's a big result ahead of a very, very competitive Monochrome GT4 Australia field. So away we go again, and we heard from Aaron Cameron with the new Mo, and we'll offer some commentary on that as the day goes on, perhaps.
Absolutely we will.
But he said the job's now up to his co-driver Lockie Dalton to do the job. Well, at Phillip Island, Dalton went better than Cameron in qualifying. So there's only one position better he can be at an outright level. So the pressure is now on Lockie Dalton in the multi-spares car. As was Jed Wallace just running two wheels off the road as he goes past the tough lift McLaren as they sort themselves out for qualifying 2.
I'd say we're going to see the track, it'll get close to dry, but what happens with the circuit, it's very wet and it's obviously quite slippery, but as it dries off and gets to probably this stage where it's probably at the actual worst it is for grip levels. So this will be tricky for the second drivers jumping in. They'll be thinking, I could get some slicks on this car, but there will be patches that are going to catch drivers out. And look, there's no sun blaring on the circuit to dry it out. Not much wind, so it's going to be a wet tyre, and just kind of phase it in at the right time and make sure you're on the circuit with a few minutes to go.
Those that will be very interesting in how this session ramps up over the next 11.5 minutes will be the Motorcraft Mustang Cup competitors, because they're on track next. So they'll be watching this very closely ahead of their qualifying session for their first race a little bit later on today. So Jake Camilleri is on the racetrack. Wallace, Summer Rintoul takes over the McLaren from Jared Hughes. Pretty effective little combination, those two. Still looking for their first Monochrome GT4 Australia outright win. Feels like it's not far away. They've been very, very fast. Dean Koutsamides takes over the Equity One, number 71 car from Nick McBride. We need to say congratulations to Nick and partner Rach, who recently welcomed young Sydney into the family. Third child. Hello to Rach. I'm sure she's watching back. Actually, I'm not sure if she'll be watching from back home in Melbourne, but I'm sure John McBride, proud grandpa, will be. So congratulations to the McBrides. Great story, and they had a really solid weekend, actually. Nick and Dean Koutsamides in their Supra at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit in the Silver Am class.
I'm curious to see if anyone has rolled a slick tyre here, because one car came out the lane quite late with cloud entry.
Well, if anyone is going to do it, it would not shock me that it'd be them.
And it was having a few little moments of turn 3 trying to put the power down. So I think, hopefully, our dear friends.
And we've just had confirmation from our team in pit lane. Mason Harvey is on a slick tyre.
Who would have thought they've if Cameron McLeod's involved, he's going to get amongst that all-righter, it turns out.
Rusty?
I'm with Tony D'Alberto, who's again on double duty this weekend. Just as you handed the car over, then what was your assessment of the track and so on?
Well, firstly, Rusty, how's my hair? Because I just that, isn't it?
Is he okay?
Look, it was very slippery out there. We went out on wet sand. It was sort of like that in between, you know. Do we go on a slick? Do we go on a wet? But I think the wet was the right choice, but it's still not enough temp in the track yet to dry. So I think even this session here, I noticed a couple of guys going out on slicks. They're certainly braver than I am, but I think the wet is still the right call.
How did Friday wrap up? We're back at Wall Racing here now. You'll switch, obviously, for a little bit later for GT3. How's the weekend gone so far?
Yeah, it was a tricky day yesterday because it was wet and dry during the session, so we didn't really get a true read of this thing. Didn't do a new tyre run, so we're a little bit unsure. I don't think we're front pace, but I think we're probably for that mid pace where we think we should be. So we'll just see how it rolls out today. Hopefully the track's nice and dry and we can put some new tyres on and have a crack.
Okay, before we wrap this up, unofficial Vidal Sassoon ambassador. How about one of those?
Be like L'Oreal or something.
Oh my God. Can Rossi ask Tony to call me back from a week ago as well? Waiting for the return phone call.
He's too busy doing his hair, clearly.
Exactly.
He's such a character, isn't he? He's always good fun as his teammate Jared Kite brings the Ford Mustang up towards turn 1. Just never a dull moment, is there, really?
You just don't know what you're going to get with him, but he's having fun.
Well, and that's the main thing, and that part and parcel of this category is that it is great fun, and everyone goes out there and has a really enjoyable time, and the camaraderie in the paddock is great, and yet it is still extremely competitive.
It is, and the drivers and the teams are so fortunate to be able to get someone like a Tony D'Alberto in the car, because obviously he's great to work with, very light-hearted, but the information and the way he can coach his teammates is really impressive, and he's done it for a long time now in this style of racing, and there's a reason why he gets asked back every year, because one, like we see, he's great to be around, but he has such knowledge of 20-25 years of racing cars and being very good at it. He just brings that wealth of knowledge and experience.
I'm sure you'll be banging doors with him in the Supercars Enduros later on this year. We mentioned that he's going to be great for Roland Gray, isn't he? Shell VPower Racing. There's Aaron Cameron watching on and having a debrief with Cam McLeod. The Multi-Spares Racing Garage will keep you up to speed with that. A couple of sixths, by the way, in the opening running class for Jared Kite and Tony D'Alberto. So a really solid start to their Monochrome GT4 Australia campaign. Jensen Shearer's gone quick in the first sector in the Porsche. Daniel Frugas, though, continuing this form for the Toyota Supras. And a 9-0 is not far off the time Lockie Evanet did in qualifying 1. So Frugas to the top early.
And he was great at Phillip Island. So I was wondering if he was going to pop up in these conditions, and so far, still 7 minutes to go, but early form. But Jay Murray pops to P2.
Yeah, that's very impressive. The young man from Geelong in the BMW, car number 7. His dad's on track 2, Nathan. We've got the split liveries this year, one green, one red. McElroy Racing running those cars. That's a huge lap. 209.5. Frugas on top, though. He's got young Chris White as a co-driver for this round and indeed the next 2 as well after this weekend. And Chris is the champion of the GR86 Cup in New Zealand. He is very effective in one-make Toyota racing, and another one of the crop of talented New Zealand youngsters coming over to this part of the world and racing. That is a strong combo overall now between the two of them. Daniel driving solo at round 1 did a great job, but the knowledge now he's got that strong backup from a very fast young co-driver to match him. That is going to be an effective combo, and right now Daniel Frugas is on top.
And you'd hate to have a Kiwi teammate in these kind of conditions, would you? They're really bad in the wet and dry or drying conditions.
Every second session they run, he's in these conditions. Jensen Shearer's gone second in the Porsche as we go down to Charlie Barlow.
Thanks, Krause. Confirmation that Lockie Dalton back in the lane and putting on slicks. As they made the decision, Aaron Cameron actually jumped up and down and said, yes, we're going to slicks. So let's see what the Multi-Spares Mustang can do now.
That's great.
So that's the sister car to Mason Harvey, who went out on slicks.
Who is currently 20 seconds
so
off the wet runners.
There's still 5 minutes to go. Give it time.
The sun has come out.
Jet Murray on a very good lap at the moment. Top of your screen, green and yellow McLaren jumps up to 6th place, got traffic in the final sector, but was quicker than anybody in the first sector. Jet Murray is alongside Tom Heyman in that WM Waste Method Motorsport McLaren, the car that's won the Silver Class Championship for the last 2 years in a row.
It is drying through the triple rights, but it's only one part of the track. The hard thing for the two slick runners now, we have a stacked field, 30-plus cars. They're trying to get their slicks up to temperature, but they're going to have wet runners coming past them at 5, 6, 7 seconds a lap faster until they get that tyre up to temperature. So these are very tricky few minutes for both those cars. I'd prefer to be in the Harvey car because he's a couple of laps ahead of Lockie, Dalton, but they just need to keep it on the island and kind of let everyone just drive around them for a few minutes and find some space. And it is definitely starting to dry, but is it enough with 4 minutes to go, effectively 2 laps around Tailem Bend?
We're talking about it drying through turns 7, 8, 9 and 10. I'm pretty happy if it's drying there.
Yes.
The fastest high commitment bit of the 4.9 Ks of the bend. This is a good lap from Jensen Shearer, run by the hugely experienced Mark Buick, South Australian driver. He's learnt his racecraft in wings and slicks open wheelers in a Formula 3 car and goes to the top at a 2:08.7 in the Porsche. So the 22-year-old, very, very good lap, and told us before the start of the year that his favourite track is the bend. So he is enjoying it today. First into the 8s in qualifying 2, and that is provisional pole at the moment for Jensen Shearer. Puts Daniel Frugus back to 2nd position. Jay Murray, another outstanding performance. There's a few of them in this session in 3rd position at the moment in the BMW. Here's Frugus.
The Porsche and the Supra would be the pick, I feel like, in these conditions. Nimble little cars, very good power delivery, and they just look a bit narrower on screen. You can probably place it where you want it. Frugus improves again, not quite enough.
Interesting, they're all hunting for water now on the right-hand side, left-hand side of our screen, but driver's right on the straight. So trying to get the temperature in the wet Pirellis down before they start another push lap. 2 minutes, 55 seconds to go in this one. Shearer, Frugus, Camilleri, the top 3. So the experience from the Queenslander in 3rd place in the Mustang really paying off. Jay Murray back to 4th. Wallace in 5th place. Jet Murray 6th. Job Stewart in 7th position. Then it's Lockie Dalton. Jack Johnson in 9th place. He'll be up and about. The doggies got up by a couple of points last night. As Job Stewart goes to the top at a 2:08.2. So the circuit properly ramping up now. Quickest time of the day so far.
When I look at the splits of the slick runners for Mason Harvey, who's probably got a lot more temperature, we're 4 seconds away, sector 1. He's within 2 in the middle sector where we saw it is drying through the right-handers. So it's coming. It's 13 seconds away. He's going to get 2 laps
so
to get it done.
If it was a 20-minute qualifying session, he might be right.
Yeah, he's going to go close. He's down to 7 seconds this lap. So his final lap is like, fingers crossed, clear track. No red flag, no yellow flag.
Well, and it is improving rapidly now for the wet tyre runners. So Camilleri's gone purple in the middle sector. Fastest of anybody. He's on a very good lap. Frugus improving again in the Supra. We're watching the Nippies Audi and Job Stewart, who didn't get an opportunity to drive this car at Phillip Island. A young man from Mount Gambier, full-time supercars racer with Erebus. He's one of that great new generation of full-timers in Supercars Championship, but great to see him just spreading his wings a little bit and getting some more laps and some more miles, which I know Barry Ryan at Erebus absolutely loves. He's currently done the business, quickest of anybody. Camilleri goes to 2nd in the Mobile Mustang, 2nd outright. Silvercars 1st to 11th at the moment. Chris Lillis currently on top in the AM class in 12th. Jacob Lawrence on top in Silver Am in 13th position as Frugus goes to 2nd, and he went to 2nd by 0.004 of a second. Tiny margin, but Job Stewart right now is clinging on in the Audi.
0.5 across 5 cars on a circuit that's taking over 2 minutes to complete is seriously impressive, and 5 different manufacturers.
It's cool, isn't it? The variety in Monochrome GT4 Australia. 30 seconds to go now. Our timing screen is awash with colour at the moment. Everybody punching out personal best sectors. Job will get another lap. That's the flashing lights of the Nippies Audi heading up towards turn one, trying to work his way past Dean Koutsamides. Didn't improve that lap, got a little bit of traffic. Frugas is going on with it in the Supra. Has just set his personal best first sector. He's only going to find 0.004 of a second.
And Harvey is going to cross the line potentially with 1 second to go. If he's coming for the last corner.
Checkered flag. Did he get by?
He's moved up.
I don't think he got by. 2 minute 11.7, so he remains in 18th position. So they gambled. I don't think it's worked for the Multi-Spares Racing team. This is Daniel Frugas. Garth Walden Racing prepares this car. They're very proud of the outfit they've put together. They've got racing cars. Queensland Raceway, the next round of the Shannons Speed Series, they've got cars in 4 categories. And Frugas is up by a big chunk in the middle sector.
Just 4 categories. He's not busy.
He's had to rent an extra transporter. He's got so many cars running there with the Radicals joining the program that time out. But right now, their own focus is on Monochrome GT4. He's only got to find 0.004 of a second. His middle sector was pretty impressive. Now, Lockie Dalton has just gone purple in the middle sector on a slick tyre, but his first sector wasn't good. But if he can complete it, he'll be in good shape. Frugas goes to the top.
That's a massive lap. 7/10 over Stewart. And now, I think, really, looking at our screen, let's sit back and see what Lockie can do, because it was drying up at turn 13, 14. So the back end of the lap's going to come to him.
Daniel Frugas to the top, 207.5. What can Lockie Dalton do? 7th. So he was a lap away.
Yep,
One more lap, and that car may well have been on the right tyre at the right time. It's going to be a slick tyre racetrack in about 2 minutes' time. Here's Job Stewart. No improvement first and second sectors, but the final's a personal best. Doesn't improve the lap time, remains in second place, but it's been a pretty productive day for the Audi squad, finally making their return to racing after missing the opening round between he and Blake Purdy. Really solid day. Taylor Bryant goes to 3rd. So the Supras are going strong. That's the car he's sharing with Ryland Gray. Lockie Dalton, quickest of anybody in the middle sector, quickest of anybody in the final sector. It was sector 1, he gave away over 2 seconds.
But that shows the difference in the 2 team cars.
Yeah.
The Harvey car should have had the tyre temp, but he missed the flag by 1 second. We're 22nd.
Yes.
The sister car was 2 laps behind in tyre temp, goes P7 because they're on the track at the right time, but the Frugas lap that's seriously impressive. 7/10 over the field when the next 3 cars are separated by 2. So what a lap for the Frugas on board that Supra. But again, we see Supra, an Audi, and another Supra in the top 3.
Yeah, the Toyotas have been the package to have in qualifying for Monochrome GT4 Australia. And Job Stewart backs up that great job from Blake Purdy. Taylor Bryant strong as well. Jet Murray in 5th. They're going to be in the mix. So they will be competitive. You can bet that. The Method Motorsport McLaren has always been handy. Here's how they run. So Daniel Frugas did the job. Chris White was strong earlier on, so they look great overall. Job Stewart and Blake Purdy the same. And after a good job from Ryland Gray, Taylor Bryant backs it up for DNA in 3rd position in their Supra. Jake Camilleri, well done. P4 and top Ford Mustang in front of a bunch of supercars, guys. Full times. He's a car dealer from Caboolture in Queensland.
Oh,
so 4th place.
Ring when I need a car.
Absolutely. Outstanding job. Tom Heyman and Murray next. So it was Jet Murray, the youngster, who did the job there. And then Shearer, Cameron and Dalton rolled the dice on the slick, and it almost paid off for them. AM Class pole went the way of Chris Lillis. Great job for the West Aussie in the Porsche in 14th place. And Jared Kite 2nd in the end in Silver Am. But Silver Am pole went the way of Glenn Nerwin alongside
job.
Zach Suter, a tough lift McLaren.
It's a handy teammate to have, isn't it, Zach?
Very handy team. Great job, Glenn Nerwin, actually, to just miss the top 10 outright. The guys' highlights from qualifying 2 in Monochrome GT4 Australia. Compelling stuff. Love a quali session where there are massive track evolution gains to be found at the end of a session.
It's the hardest session you ever do. It's first off mentally, what tyre do I want to be on? And then track position, getting yourself in the right spot. And Frugas proved all of that. As you can see, he crossed the line with a little slipstream to the finish. But what a job, though, in those conditions.
So great stuff. Daniel Fergus will get pole position for Monochrome GT4 Australia in qualifying number 2. 2 great sessions wrapping up Monochrome GT4 Australia. They will race for the first time this weekend. A little bit later on this afternoon, Job Stewart second, Taylor Bryant third. You're watching the Shannons Speed Series on Fox and KO. A massive day of racing still to come from the bend.